It's a little bit funny, this feeling inside. Wow. You can tell which one used to be the singer. 14th of May. Control the controllables. It's a big one, and I've got a long quote. Marcus Aurelius, good old curly chops. Those who chase status base their happiness on the opinions of others. Those who seek pleasure tie it to their emotions, but the wise find it only in their own actions. Consider the people whose approval you seek, the things you strive to own, and the strategies you use to get them. Time erases all of it, just as it has before, and just as it will again. That's quite beautiful, wasn't it?
Really, really nice. And actually, I know people won't believe this. That was one take.
That was one take. One take is all he needs.
Yeah, that's stuff.
Yeah. So where's it got you thinking? Are you okay?
I just thought the table was going to fall, but it didn't.
That'd be good because I've pulled 2 podcast tables over this month.
Who else have you pulled?
My partner.
Yes. Shout out to other.
We'll put our Instagram handles in the comments.
Right, so it takes me straight back to a moment, right? A real key moment. And actually, this sort of stuff used to really bother me, right? So I called this guy up. Yeah, I was cheeky chappy. Called him. It was actually my last job before I started We Have a Meeting. Called this guy up. He was like on the list of kind of dream customers. And I got hold of him. He was the boss. He was the chief. Just got him on my mobile phone. Really like tried to find his number. Did a few little sneaky tactics. But I got him on the phone, and he was like very like geezer, London Cockney geezer. He's like, he's like, oh yeah, I like the style, I like what you're doing. He's like giving it me a bit, both being a bit cheeky chappy on the call, right? So I thought that now is sort of the vibe that we've got. We've got this sort of cheeky chappy thing going on. So I call him back a few weeks later in the same tone, and he went, right, you've really fucking pissed me off now, Zach. You've rang me up like that on a Friday. You've been fucking cheeky to me. I'm not having it. And I was like, and all I'd said to him was, hey mate, like we agreed, I'm calling up to get my rejection. And he just straight in like that.
Wow.
And it actually like, it got my back up a bit.
Yeah.
I felt like pissed off. So like the call ended unceremoniously, obviously. And then I went to the gym and I was like thinking about it. I was thinking about it at home. I was just letting it bother me just all week and letting it bother me. And I said to my boss on the Monday, that bothered me all weekend. And he looked at me and I'm like, did it? Why? And like, even though I didn't really like him, like that is a good question. Why have I let that bother me all weekend? Because actually what I've done is I've put it on a loop and just let it play over and over again. It's almost like I've not intercepted the loop at any point. And weirdly, I don't really do that anymore. I've had probably like 2 other moments like that since, in the thousands of calls that I've done since. But it really like got my back up. And I think it was because I thought one thing, my expectation was we have this thing, we've got this kind of relationship now. And then the reality had just smashed into, actually you don't have that sort of relationship and you're not memorable.
Yeah.
You're not special. It's
the feeling of it's not fair. You reminded me, I remember calling a guy once and he said, listen, I usually take cold calls. He said, but I'll be honest, my mum's just passed away. We're doing all of this at the moment. Prove it. Have you got a death certificate there? He said, can you call me back? He was like, I do want to take this call. He was like, I appreciate you've got a job to do. Can you call me back Wednesday, 12 o'clock? I'm sorting things out. I'll be in a better headspace to have a conversation. I said, yeah.
When did you call him?
Pardon?
On like Monday, you called him and he said,
no. It was like a Thursday.
Right.
And he said, call me back the next Wednesday.
I'll be fully recovered from my grief by then.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make any sense. But he just said, give it a week. Or it might have been 2 weeks. Call me back, whatever, this day. And he said, I do want to take it. I said, yeah, that's fine.
What about the call?
So I put it in the diary and I wrote all my notes and I remembered it because I was like, you don't forget that call. And I rang him back and he said, and I said, we spoke a couple of weeks ago. You told me to give you a call back on this day at this time. It's about X. And he went, my mum has just died and you're calling me. And he was just like, don't call me again. I've told you not to call me. And I was like, oh, like, and you just feel that like shame, guilt, rejection. And like you say, I was really bothered. And I was like, that's not fair. He told me to, and I wanted to like download the call and send it to him or get the transcript and screenshot and be like, you said, and I was like, actually, does it matter? But it takes a while to get to that bit, and I think we're there now.
It's a weird one, isn't it? Because you sort of get there through awareness. You've got to kind of activate. The Stoics have got a cool name for it, but in Eastern philosophy, it'd be called the observer. This bit in your brain that can actually oversee everything. But it's not just automatically there, the ability to kind of step back from your emotions and go, hold on a second, what's happening here?
Yeah.
And in Eastern philosophy, they've got things where they say, if you just sit back and just kind of follow the emotion for a minute, where does it end? And it'll sometimes it just ends into just nothing.
Yeah.
It's actually just on a loop. But if I've not mentioned it before, I train jiu-jitsu in the mornings, right? And my jiu-jitsu coach, sometimes he rocks up a few minutes late. And bear in mind, this is 6 o'clock in the morning. So he's just got up and just jumped in his car and he's met me at the gym. He might have been up for 10 minutes. And the amount of times he walks in and goes, it is not my day. And I think, how could it not? Like, I had to defrost my car. I helped to, like, just little things that might have been like 10 minutes, but he's just written off his whole day. And I think so many of us are guilty of that. Like, you have the bad call, you get the rejection. I remember Freya in my team, I used to have to reprogram her in the early days to say, stop saying everyone hates you.
Yeah.
Like, it's first few.
It's not good for you. It's not good for the team. It's not good for anyone.
But just like the quote saying here, you're just reinforcing the belief the more times that you do it. So actually, the advice for this one is when things trigger you in sales, do you have the ability to activate that observer and just sit back and take a second and look, what has actually bothered me there? How has it bothered me? Acknowledge it, and then ask yourself the question, how long do I want this to bother me for? Make a little agreement with yourself, almost as if you're having a little meeting with yourself, like, right, okay, look, this has bothered us, clearly. How long do we want to let it bother us for? 10 minutes, an hour, like, I'm happy with whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
And actually, sometimes you start to kind of laugh at yourself and go, like,
Am I mad,
am I
man?
being silly?
Yeah.
You know, Steve Peters, who wrote The Chimp Paradox, he said that he treats his chimp brain like that.
Yeah.
So when he has a moment where it's annoyed him, he'll just stop, like pull his car over or whatever. And he's like, right, obviously this has annoyed us. How long do we want to let this annoy us for?
Yeah.
And he's like, and actually it usually makes me laugh in the car of like, oh yeah, I'm being a bit daft here.
Yeah. I also think you didn't mention it there, but I think one of the other questions is like, why is this annoying me? And it's like finding out those triggers. I know that me, you, and Ben, and we've all got different triggers.
Who's Ben?
Our business partner, the third Jonas brother.
God, I want you to.
Not Nick.
We'll put his Instagram
Joe
handle
Jonas.
in the comments.
Kevin. And it's a case of like, why does this annoy me? And a lot of the time, like, I know that lateness doesn't bother you, does it? Doesn't get you. But it gets me, and that is a trigger that from childhood. There's something that's been in there, and it's all been rewired, and it's understanding that, and it's like knowing what triggers you and why things trigger you. That's how you start to maybe gain a bit more control.
Beautiful.
I've been Jack Frimston.
I've been Zach Thompson.
Remember, you will die.
I'm a trained assassin. Pow.